What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the night shift. It's myself, Jake, joined by the lovely Jason Kaplan. We're about to get into the NA portion of the show. Shout out Liz, by the way, for that wonderful interview with Ido. You can check out the full video on her channel, get all the details. She's putting out a lot of great Deadlock content these days.
I have to say, Jake, and to everyone watching, no, we did not plan to both be wearing black and both looking equally handsome. It just happened to work out that way. I don't know what happened. We didn't see each other before the show.
We're mind melded. We're mind melded.
Yeah, well, you know what? You call me looking lovely. You're looking fantastic yourself, Jake. I'm always digging the little curls you have here. I try to replicate my hair to do that, and then I see this giant bald spot, so I tend to.
That takes a lot of effort and time, brother. You might try to let that one go. But you got the stash. You know, I will say I'm a little jealous. Of the stash.
Now.
I'm gonna have to live with it.
It gets real weird when you eat food and get stuck in your mustache and it stinks all day and you gotta wash it. But
yeah,
you know
that's not. You're really killing the attractiveness level. It's going way down. Let's move on. Let's move past this. Let's take a look at the bracket, guys. What we got coming up for the matches today. We actually did. If you joined us this weekend, we played a qualifier match in NA. I mean, the NA scene is getting so competitive. We're almost compelled to, which is a little bit crazy. Floormen, though, put on a show. Pretty dominant win over No Earnings, who we've heard has been doing really well in scrims, but honestly, that qualifier match was impressive. Floormen just took care of business.
Yeah, and honestly, I like how you pointed that out too, because NA is getting ridiculously competitive, because not only are we seeing like No Earnings, for instance, we also have another team coming out of the woodwork called Evil Cake Army, ECA, with Fluorescence, Cal Goober, Arkham, and Chickpea. I don't know who their 6 actually is at the moment, but man, there's so much talent in North America. I just wish EU would have more teams like this.
Yeah, I mean, the Deadlock scene is getting to a fantastic place. It's an awesome thing to see, especially with so many positive changes coming to the game. Really excited to see what's next, what's here for the competitive scene. But we still, of course, have incredible action coming right at you today. That top slot in NA, it does not earn itself. You got to come here to the night shift. You got to battle it out and be the last man standing in North America. We got some hefty prize pools now. And I mean, Dropify and Trackhawk have come in major ways to really level up this prize pool. We're giving away $2,500 a week at the base with some crowdfunding to add a little bit of extra juice on top.
Yeah, man, a lot of money to be won for these teams, and I hope at some point we eventually get like a second place prize pool as well to help convince the teams to keep pushing along, keep sticking together, and keep grinding it out, because we want to see everyone be successful. And who knows, maybe the next weeks, next months, we'll have that happen for us.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about. I mean, honestly, let us know, chat. What do you think? We were talking about this, about, hey, maybe it's time to allocate a bit of that prize pool to second place and talk about ways to expand the show and make it better. So always interested in your feedback. You guys can also join our Discord to be more in the conversation, where we want to be a community focused show and really, take that input in. So join the Discord. You can chat with a lot of us and chat with the community, get your perspective out, or just spam what's in your head onto Twitch chat like everybody else is doing. I mean, that could work. Like, I'm no guarantees, but it could. Let's take a look, though, at our lovely Patreon. I mean, we wouldn't be here at this lovely point in the show without the incredible support of our patrons. Thanks, Incredible Mouse. By the way, we've got a new board member joining the roster. And this org chart is getting out of control now, Jason. I mean, we really need to start finding jobs.
I feel like we either need to have more breakdowns or just have like a second page here. I'm pretty sure like the Night Shift residents can have their own page, but you know what? They're not as worthy as the 250 members who deserve their own page in their own rights. I mean, we've had Affex and Tetsuo here pretty much since I feel like week 1 or week 2, supporting us month in and month out. But it doesn't matter if you're giving 250, 100, or even just $5. Even if you're not giving anything and just here every Wednesday, we appreciate all the support we get from every single person in the community. It helps make the show possible and makes us feel good, man.
Yeah, we're here because y'all are here. That's what really gives the show its life. So huge shout out to the patrons. You can always join our Patreon if you want to support. It's like the best way to directly support what we're doing here on the night shift, trying to bring Deadlock esports to the masses. But you know what? That is enough housekeeping. Jason, let's get on to the good stuff. The people are here to see some competitive Deadlock, and we got to introduce, of course, our initial 2 teams here in this NA Challenger match. First up, it's the Melee Crepes. What do people need to know about these guys?
Ban Viper. I think that's pretty much all we saw last week for them. Man, Fishcake has been a terror on the Cursed Apple on Viper, constantly being a pain. We've also seen some like switch ups within the team, if I'm not mistaken. Like Saya, who would typically play like the full support role for the team, has actually been flexing to things like Bebop, and Scout's been more so been put in that role of being position 6 or Saya's role in the previous time. So I think they've kind of realized what they've been doing in the past isn't working. They need to make some switch ups. And we even saw, what was it, Ido returning back to, well, I don't want to say form, but returning back to pocket as well last week. It's a little bit interesting to see that they really are trying to find what that winning condition is for this team yet again.
Yeah, definitely some OGs on this roster, but so much talent front to back, right? It feels like, whatever characters they're playing, I'm not super worried about that because we've always praised this team for their flexibility. It makes them really hard to draft against. It's really hard to pin them down. And I think you're right to call that out about the support thing because honestly, I think the meta has shifted. Not every team is running, a quote unquote support now. There's like a lot more diversity, and even that character who's maybe a little more focused on healing or enabling is still going to try to bring something to the fight, right? And still going to try and be proactive on the map. So it really feels like a statement of where Deadlock is right now. But this is, I think, pretty dominantly our most winningest team here ever in Deadlock Night Shift with how many they've won. But it's been a hot second since we've seen Melee Creeps up at first place, right? Been a few weeks. So this is a team that has those championship expectations. You got to always consider them a contender. But of course, they're going to have to defeat their opponent here to even have a chance at taking down the top slot. And of course, this opponent, it's going to be none other than the Floormen. Came out of the qualifier match, but with an absolute bullet here, looking very ready for the night.
Yeah, I think after talking to AVG, Floormen are probably the most methodical team and like thought out team when it comes to playing Deadlock in its current iteration. I know AVG went really in depth with like all the positions and how they kind of all work together to accomplish a win. And then of course, when you bring in the big dog, you bring in the Bulgarian beast Adimov into the roster, it just brings a whole nother level of firepower to this team that's been kind of unmatched in the past. Zeno as well, been great to see him flex around and kind of see that, he doesn't really have to play those carry heroes. I mean, the first iteration we saw of him was Yamato, and they even got to the point in one of the one-win bombshell tournaments that they actually stopped trying to win just so he can get more and more fed. But to see him just want to win games and he's willing to play a support role has been cool. And of course, I mean, DMB and League have been such staples of this team and such anchors to consistently have good matches.
Yeah, definitely stacked front to back. Not a team that you want to write off or think is going to be an easy win. And this is just the challenger match, right? This isn't even technically for the top slot just yet. It's for the chance of getting for it. But of course, with all the cash on the line, the teams are going to be very motivated to get that done. But of course, as is tradition here on the Night Shift, in order to get into our first match, we got to do a draft. In order to do our draft, we need our Mo and Krill 1v1. We got to see who's got the better fisticuffs, who's ready to throw them dukes down, and get yourself that draft priority. If you win the Mo 1v1 melee only, you get to decide first pick or second.
Okay, Jake, I might be showing my age here. You might be too young for this, but have you ever seen this game that you have like two buttons and it's like Rock and Sock and Boppers, I think it or something like that, and it's
Rock and Sock and Robots,
and the head comes off. Is there some way for the first like Deadlock Night Shift LAN that we can modify that to be two Mo and Krills and we have that actually be the coin flip instead?
That would be an iconic like giveaway item. If somebody like builds that and like people, that would go crazy. That would do numbers for sure. You're talking real. You should stop giving that idea away, Jason. We need to capitalize on that. That's our next Shopify store, man.
Exactly.
That game.
Board games modified to the Deadlock universe. So it looks like we have AVG coming from Floormen in the orange. Ido for Melee Creeps. It's like Saya doing this.
Yeah, Saya is kind of one of the masters of the Mo 1v1. These guys playing things a little bit. Whoa, look at that! Just stared him down. Absolute, got that dog in him.
What? You just shot him? That's not allowed. Hello?
Whoa.
Was that like the go time? And then AVG, put him in the grave, man. He's not allowed to shoot you. Just put him in the grave. Get him out of here.
Yeah, let him know. Ido's playing this one real cautious.
I mean, not too cautious that he shot AVG. There you go. Put him in there. He's in the grave now. All right. So
I'm glad we didn't have to like go back and check the tape on that one. Luckily, it seems like the AVG got the win. But will this be enough? I mean, okay, they're going to choose second pick for the Floormen. Makes sense to me right now. I think there isn't, like, in this current moment in the meta, there's not some one hero that you just think is a must pick. For Melee Creeps, though, it's kind of been the dynamo that they've been just snatching in that first slot time and time again. I wonder if Floormen let it through or if they ban it. And actually, okay, Melee Creeps ban it and they're not going to take it first, but they think Floormen will absolutely grab it in the top two, which I think is absolutely correct. This has been, after many months, years even of Dynamo being irrelevant competitively, Dynamo is one of the best heroes in Deadlock.
And it's been like massively played by Scout in particular for Melee Creeps over this last like month of time. What I am really curious about is there going to be Infernus being picked as a high prio hero between these two teams, because he's been a menace. He's been an absolute terror. I know we've talked about this like over a month ago, saying Infernus, he still should be really good. Like not really, he wasn't hurt that drastically that there's a reason that teams stopped picking him. And out of nowhere, we saw him being thrown back into the meta and such a highly contested pick. But a Mirage, I don't even think we saw Mirage today, if I'm not mistaken. It's still one of those picks in EU that's just kind of dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, I mean, NA and EU have always had those different perspectives. I think you're absolutely right. I think Infernus is probably going to go next here after Bebop. Be a little surprised. I mean, I guess you could consider something like Silver also to be a really good option in this early phase, but I kind of prefer they go the Infernus. We'll have to see. I do think Mirage can be sometimes thought of as not a counter to Infernus, but somebody who kind of doesn't mind the extended trading fights that Infernus likes to engage. He ignites you and he keeps on staying on you. Like Mirage has great mobility to get away, and Infernus, like no one can really deal with getting like max stacks Mirage, and even like having the Beetle reduce your damage output. It has some like nice synergy into countering him. It is going to be Bebop and Silver for the Floormen, so Infernus still unpicked. I think you're right though. I think it's a mistake to let Infernus get past these first three. Maybe it's a little awkward to have Infernus and Mirage since they sort of are doing similar things in the carry role.
I'm not sure. I actually expected him to be picked more towards the beginning of the draft here, but to see like Venator left like this late, to see a Bebop first pick, first of all, I understand it's North America. I understand that NA really has a high priority when it comes to Bebop, but to see him like picked massively over the likes of like Mirage, Infernus, Venator, it kind of does blow my mind a little bit. But we do have the Infernus finally come on through, and I guess in hindsight, the Bebop does make sense since Saya was playing it last week. You kind of take it away from them, and you do give it, of course, to this Erebus to really power through for your team. But yeah, I don't know. This is going to be, I guess, somewhat of an interesting one. I don't know why I said Erebus, not even on this team. It's just on my mind when it comes to Bebop.
Erebus like
John now in my head.
Erebus did kind of single-handedly bring Bebop back into the meta, at least in NA, right? It was like, you know, they came in swinging, willed it. Like what they were, I think they lost a brutal map, and then Erebus goes Bebop, and they like crazy, you know, come back from there. So I can see why you have such an association with him and the hero. I'm gonna say I'm really a big fan of this Floormen first three. I think Infernus does so well in the side lane, and I think you pair him with sort of a little bit more of aggressive initiator style hero like Bebop or Silver. I think that looks like a super scary lane. There's a ton of other sort of spirit nuking options you could go for, and they also get the Viper. You talked about that, something you don't want to let melee creeps have. Well, Floormen are saying they're just gonna take it themselves. Viper, I think playing for that gun carry build has gotten way more popular in top level play. People have really found the way to make it work and for it to feel consistent.
And if we talk about something that's been also heavily picked these last 2 weeks of Sinclair, Viper is also very good when it comes to mid-boss control. Once you do max your Petrify and Bola, you can AoE stun everyone. Makes it really simple. Just steal away every single Rejuve crystal, or confirm it, obviously. Then even Furnace to back it up with. So yeah, I'm not hating it, but I am seeing a lot of squishiness in the Floormen roster so far. If you can keep your distance, if you can somehow deal with Viper, which I think Mirage, the Dust Devil, does a decent job of, Viper can be very tough, I think, to kind of come online, especially when you have to pair it up against a Viscous now with the cube to eliminate your kill potential early on in the game with your Lethal Venom. I'm not really hating this Viscous pick, to be honest, but the Doorman I never would have expected.
That's an interesting one. I don't mind it, honestly. Seeing the Doorman, you know, in the quasi support role, like honestly in high rank, there's some players that just have spam Doorman forever, right? They don't care what the meta is. They continue to spam Doorman. Some of these like kidnapping plays, you pull people under your walker at 10 minutes, like it is legitimately really hard to deal with. That Vortex Web comes online, you know, items like Cheat Death, and Doorman is now just like a huge menace on the map that really constricts the way you play the game. So it's a little bit unconventional for Floormen, but I feel like I see the vision. Melee creeps, though, front to back, a lot of power in this draft, and the saves from Viscous, I think, are, like you said, are going to be really valuable.
Let me pick your brain, though, because Doorman just, it seems like a quasi Sinclair, but with the ability to give you more mobility around the map because of the doors, because you still interact the same way. You Vortex Web and you CC. Well, it's the cart for Doorman and it's the Rabbit Hex for Sinclair. Do you think those two are interchangeable for Floormen here, or is there like, in your eyes, do you think there's a specific plan with the Doorman?
I think Doorman offers a couple things, you know, pretty uniquely. I think the ultimate is underrated in terms of its power, right? And in high level play, right, if you can just catch somebody, it gives like essentially more than enough time for everyone on your team to catch up and set up. And you know, having something like a Bebop waiting when you come out of the Baroness, it's like you're just dead. You know, like you're not escaping from that. Having that free setup is a really great way to start the fight. And then on top of that, I think not just that you're CCing people, but when you're pulling them through the door into like deep into enemy territory, it's something that there's the only counterplay is essentially to not get caught in the first place. Once you find yourself under the enemy walker at 10 minutes, like you just write those people off, like you see your buddy get like kidnapped to the into the enemy fountain, the enemy base. It's like, all right, have a nice time. I'm gonna go hit some sinners. Like it might take them a few seconds to kill you. I'm gonna use that time for something else. And so I mean, maybe the competitive players, right, are going to be really aware of that and really like avoiding it and very conscious of it. But I do think Doorman just has like an incredible skill potential as a character. So I feel like I'd kind of favor players who really master the character over trying to counterplay him. Like there's so many options, playing with portals, right? It just immediately opens up a whole new element of the game. And back when we saw Doorman a lot more, right, we talked about the importance around mid-boss of like repositioning your team, baiting objectives. So there's a lot of craziness for sure that can go on with the Doorman.
I like how your one counter to Doorman and the doors is just don't get hooked.
Don't
get
caught
hooked through it or get pushed through it. It's a lot easier said than done. But obviously, when you're playing at this level, you kind of expect it. But the GT to come in last, I mean, I guess you do have. I don't know. If
I think to your point about the squishiness of some of these some of the Floormen team, I think that's sort of the vision here. Is like, okay, look, Infernus, Viper, Doorman, Apollo, these characters do a ton of damage. Even Bebop, right? A lot of damage, but you turn the tables on them and they're trying to run away from you and have a GT bird catching them. I think you look at this, like the lineup of, it's going to be Mirage and Venator pretty much camping it up on the side lanes, chilling out and farming. But the other four, right? Abrams and Paradox, crazy amount of catch there with swap into charge. And then the damage comes from GT and Viscous. So it's pretty straightforward, right? You catch people, knock them down with the first two, and then the latter two have crazy spirit nuking for the mid game. So I will say, like, I think this, whenever I see a GT in the draft, I'm always thinking about how are they going to snowball this great talent and get the infinite spirit power scaling. If you find yourself in the late game with like plus 80, plus 90 spirit power, you're like one of the strongest characters in the game. If you're at plus 20, you're going to feel pretty bad about the pick. So I think GT is a little bit feast or famine, but also that's the nature of Deadlock, right? You do not want to fall behind. You want to always try to be pushing for taking control and being in the lead. That being said, I do think more time pressure for sure is going to be on the Floormen this game. With Mirage, Venator, and the side lanes, it's like, you don't really love the idea of going to the ultra late game, especially with GT, having that infinite spirit scaling off the owl.
What I am seeing though for Floormen, and again, thinking back to the conversation with AEG, is that Viscous, which should be ran by Scout, I would imagine, in this comp, it's going to be in a position where you can't get super aggressive in the jungle because you're kind of like more of like a passive jungler. You're not able, I say jungle, but not in the literal sense of you're just farming creeps, but in terms of like your aggression that you're trying to pull off and trying to support your other quote unquote jungler. I think AVG is going to know specifically how to counter that. And with the high mobility of Apollo and Silver paired together, because it's probably going to be AVG on Apollo and most likely Demob on Silver or vice versa, they're going to be so aggressive and they're so deadly as a duo in the enemy jungle too. And then also to facilitate kills into these side lanes when they do go for these ganks. I really do worry for melee creeps that if they can't get to the late game where Venator and Mirage come online, Floormen could win just from the mid game.
Yeah, I also wonder how this Viscous does against Bebop, because I think, yes, the cube is an amazing save, right? In Infernus and Viper initiating on you, you get cubed, purges, especially when it's maxed, right? It's really, really powerful. It's also essentially a free hook, right? Like a Bebop is not going to miss the hook on you when you're in the cube. He can still hook you while you're in the cube. So you might have to cancel it really quick to dodge the hook, which I guess could be okay, but I just think that matchup is going to be potentially a little bit scary, right? The prospect of being hooked deep. I also think for great talent in this game, there is a lot of lockdown to be worried about, right? Whether it's like Apollo just, catching you with crazy distance. If Doorman ults you, right? It's like you're a character that I think on GT particularly, you really need positioning, right? You need like a bit of space to work with, have your team kind of out in front, scouting at the enemy, tanking some aggression, and you're just there, working your damage in, following up on other plays. But if you're getting initiated on, if you're getting caught, and Floormen have a ton of tools to do that, I think that's like the worst case scenario for GT and for Viscous actually, right? But Viscous, you want to always, be cubing somebody else almost always and saving somebody else who's in trouble. And if you're the one getting caught, if you're the one getting initiated on, it's way harder, especially with the meta build right now. I think being pretty much focused on the Spirit nuking plus cube for the Viscous. We've been yapping enough though. Choppy, he's doing his work, he's doing his dance, and he is going to bring us into game one, the NA Challenger match here of Night Shift 36. I'm Jake, I'm joined by Jason. Jason, let us get into the action.
I'm just wondering, who was the dance teacher for Shoppy? Because I'm jealous. I've been to clubs like twice in my life. I absolutely hate dancing, but I need to be able to dance like that.
I mean, look, you know, it could take many years of training. I'm sure he could get involved in a coaching.
Oh my gosh.
He's bringing us in.
If you talk about him, does he just get bigger?
he's just catching a vibe. All right, he's just coming up, saying what's up.
It's like the ego gets bigger, he grows. The more you talk about him, surely he can't get bigger than this, right?
Don't tempt production. Do not.
I don't think they have the capability to do that.
There's no way. You could not do that. That's not possible. We don't have the technology, the screen space.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just jealous overall. Like, sick kicks as well. We haven't even touched on the kicks that
yeah, that's true.
But like,
often slept on.
Well, I say we talked about predictions, right? Or we didn't talk about predictions. We talked about competitions. But who do you think's gonna win this game?
I gotta say, I'm kind of a Floormen believer right now. I think I like the draft. I like personally, I'm so Infernus pilled. Maybe I'm biased because I've been spamming that character. It's my new addiction is Dash Furnace. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. But you know what? It is what it is. But I like the Floormen draft. I think they've got a ton of tempo to control the mid game. And I actually think, like, man, yeah, like ultra late, yes, Venom and Mirage are going to be, you know, carry gods, no question about it. But there's definitely going to be some serious time where Infernus and Viper are real monsters in this game. And I think if you can make enough of a lead by that time, I don't know that Mirage and Venator are going to be able to have that same impact.
The thing is, I also wouldn't be surprised to see Viper and Dorman both picking up slowing hexes, which makes Mirage's life terrible, makes Great Talon's life terrible. Obviously, Dispel Magic's probably going to be picked up here for quite a few heroes, but it does put a lot of like extra pressure, and it's going to be Rocker. Rocking the Viper. I'm real curious, man, because it's only been really Gibbs and Fishcake I've been seeing play Viper over in North America, and Rocker. I think if you were to ask Floormen who's the best player on their team, they would for sure say Rocker every day of the week.
Yeah, he's really solid on the carry, and I think the Viper is going to be a really interesting one because I always think of Rocker as somebody who doesn't necessarily like greed farm that much, is willing to get active maybe a little bit quicker than some others, and I think Viper could actually suit that playstyle really nicely. Furnace, DMB in the mid lane, also going to be a very comfortable pick.
One thing I do worry, though, is that Rocker will typically take the mid lane farm after the 8-minute mark when their carries have gone to the outer lanes. And I don't know if you want to necessarily feed a Viper over feeding... I mean, you're going to be feeding League, you're going to be feeding DMB, first of all, those two, and then Rocker's going to be taking the third place. But I don't know. I kind of want to lean towards someone else to be that person you intentionally feed. But then again, as you've been talking about, like Gun Viper can be a menace throughout the entire game instead of that homeless Viper we talked about before, you know, courtesy of Lightbringer.
Looks like an attempt to snatch away some of the creeps there, but looks like it gets batted away by John and Saya, putting a little bit of a price on it. Saya, interesting to see him on the Paradox. That's a character that he's been bringing out a little bit more as of late. A lot of teams have really strayed away from the Paradox, right? And aren't using her nearly as much, where, I mean, this character was, I think, indisputably the top hero in competitive Deadlock for months on end. Bit of a trade here in the jungle, and this is going to be rough for Silver. Yeah, you just cannot trade with Mirage in an extended format, right? Like when he starts getting those Jin's marks on you, yeah, you do not want to let that get to max stacks. Even this early without much levels in it, it is still a lot.
Yeah, and him and Scout together to actually go for the invade into the jungle, and Scout's been sticking around, taking even more boxes on that side of the map. And this is the strong side of the map for Floormen, so you have to keep an eye on who's going to be there, and if they do maintain the lead that they're supposed to inherently have. Same for melee creeps on this left-hand side. They should be winning this lane. It's their strong lane, considering they have that tier 1 camp right next to them. They can see Fishcake already standing near. And even maybe a slight little bit of a skirmish on the right-hand side. But as you did mention, like Saya and Paradox in particular, I want to say one of the last times we saw Saya consistently paying Paradox was the Trolley Open, actually, when they ended up winning the $5,000.
That's a good point. I mean, this team, a lot of wins under their belt, right? Like a serious pedigree here. His lane, though, you talk about a strong one, but GT is doing a lot of boxing here. It's getting a lot of farm towards Fishcake, but I guess he's one of the more tolerant heroes of taking that kind of a burst. A little bit of a roam here into the side lane. Bebop's here with the gank. Tornado's out. Cube has been used as well, so Mirage pretty much out of gas. And a nice hook from Bebop, likely going to be enough to get that kill. Yeah, that lethal Venom is going to hit hard. Some smooth moves from Mirage, actually. Hold on, he's slipping away. Surely not. League does get that finish. Nice little find for the Bebop. This early game, you love when you can just get active and find those impact kills on the side lane. It's going to set up Viper and Silver for just a little bit more success there.
I mean, that's probably one of the scariest lanes in the game, because if you hit that hook, you're pretty much guaranteed dead with that lethal venom, especially when you have Petrifying Bola and just about 600 souls to set that up with Rocker. It's already a pretty strong start here for Floormen, really spreading their wings and showing that they can apply this pressure in both lanes, though I am kind of looking towards melee creeps on this left-hand side if they can be successful, because currently sitting out with 3.2 for Fish, 2.8k for Ido, and their counterparts of Demov at 2.8 and Xeno at 3k, so they're slightly winning that lane. But when it comes to like the actual battle, I don't know if I really fare Floormen to win that 2v2.
Trade here on the side lane. Parry baited out though. Gives the opportunity to maybe go for some heavies. Mirage is kind of willing to take these trades. Still has a lot of souls in the bank, but is going to get that first position on the urn. That does leave John all alone. I love this move from the Floormen. Instead of going for the buffs, they do give up 2 buffs to the other side, but they find the kill on John, which is hugely important at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously taking that pressure of knowing left lane or the mid lane was left open to go for a kill, and keeping John more importantly out of the potential of him getting out of hand in this game, keeping him kind of in check as the game progresses on. Excuse me, as you talked about the late game threat, the Venator can obviously be in that league. Maybe get a little bit overextended here, caught off, as we see even Greytown and Ido coming into the mix. Doesn't quite have Owl online just yet, though.
Yeah, I would love to be able to find some burst kills onto DMB, slow him down. Top souls here, 4.2 in the Infernus. Definitely a hero who really, you know, getting that maxed out dash is such a huge game changer. Like getting that 30 seconds, a minute faster is going to make a pretty big deal to your game overall. The explosion doesn't quite go off, actually, so they do find that kill onto DMB before you can get the counter. So the impact to Ido is real. It's not enough souls for Ido to get the Owl online, though. He's going to have to find a bit of lane creep exposure for that.
Loving this overlay, by the way. Seeing that Fish Cake was thrown into the Baroness Hotel. Potential kill coming through as Fish Cake's low on HP. And Xeno just finished it off on the left-hand side. You can saw some pressure yet again at a Rocker on the right-hand side. Opening rounds already picked up. Him and I believe that was Xeno both having opening rounds already for themselves in this game. So looking for that early poke, set up kills for either them or their teammates, obviously.
Opening rounds is a slept-on item for sure, right? It gives, I mean, what is it? I think it's 45% increased damage when people are above half. Like, huge damage. And enemies above half, that's like, hey, that's, you know, most of the time, right? Like, it's pretty realistic in terms of being able to set up some of that damage for the kills. No kill off the first bird, though, always does hurt a little bit, right? It's like the quicker you get the snowball rolling, the easier it is to really go parabolic with it, right? And turn every owl into kill. So not going to be the end of the world, but 100 seconds of that now could be a little bit of an opening for Floormen to get a bit active, I'm saying.
How do you feel, though, about seeing great talent in the side lane? Because in EU, I feel like we normally would see great talent in the mid lane, just so you have the ability to interact with both lanes really quickly.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, I feel like Saya, you know, the Paradox can also be a hero that absolutely does that, but that's not really been the case this game. I think Saya's just, you know, gone a little bit here and there for the urns, but for the most part, it's actually, I guess it's been League being the one to get active. Bit of some attention put on a DMB here. They're trying to contest a little bit of that jungle farm. DMB looks like he's going to get away with a few camps there at least.
Maybe it's Sign coming in to steal up in the mid lane too. Surprisingly, we haven't had too much pressure on any of these Guardians. Only the right lane Guardian for Floormen is going to be relatively low in HP, about half. And not to mention, speaking of low, AVG is on critical health, trying to deal with the pressure. And honestly, the kill potential for them, I feel like in a 2v2 is just so low. I mean, yeah, obviously you do have Viper, but the fact you have a cube and you're so slippery as a Mirage and you have so much burst potential as well, makes it very hard to win out on these trades. And you can already see this Guardian. It should be shoved down here in just a few seconds. So the first Guardian of the game going over to melee creeps. It does free up Scout to continue to roam around the map, and hopefully for the sake of melee creeps, take a lot of this jungle on the right-hand side, not to mention Sinners. Yeah,
so far the game progressing pretty evenly, right? Like no one really finding that kind of an edge. Mirrored progression across the map. That's a swap though onto DMB, and it should be able to set up that kill. Good connection from John. Does get the finish. It's a nice person to be able to pick up that last hit. DMB taking a couple of deaths here. What was a hugely explosive game on the Infernus is instead, you know, just fine.
A little bit of a Hyper Beam coming in, trying to defend this Guardian. Scout does take it down. I mean, a big grouping of both teams actually here towards middle, and like I said, some good damage being done, but the kill potential with the hook, it's still going to be there if you can just catch on to someone. And it might be Fish Cake who's kind of been caught off. And he's actually retreated back to the garden. Never mind, I got to call that one back, so they do escape, but the garden had gone down.
Yeah, Abram's such a hard hero to chase down, right? Like the movement tech on this character that people have come to master is so, like, canceling the charge is one of the best movement tools in the game in terms of how quickly it gets you from point A to point B. But winning that trade around the mid lane Guardian does create opportunities now for melee creeps, and they still look strong in this part of the map. You see Floormen bringing a lot of numbers here. They really want to equalize that advantage as quickly as possible.
Hook not going to land, but that charge will, and AVG is going to be the first one to go down in this skirmish. And maybe Melee Creep's going to be happy with that, because we're about to hit the 10-minute mark. Both buffs are going to be up, as well as the urn. Melee Creep's already secured both buffs the first time they spawned in at that 5-minute mark. It looks like they will do it yet again. One thing I do want to see, though, for Floormen is that DMB, get him in a side lane. Like you said before, he's been pressured. He's died a couple of times, but he's still sitting #1 in souls for his team at 8.6k. So get him that side lane so you can get that farm up and be that late game terror and that menace that we always talk about when it comes to him in particular, not to mention the hero.
Door placed right on the urn makes these a little bit awkward, but a great pin out. Pulls Dormant into a rough spot. The Infernus Concussive Combustion, though, does slow down a lot of this aggression, but where are the kills coming in? Looks like Xeno and Scout both being targeted by their opposite numbers. DMB with the Flame Bash makes things awkward, but with the GT Bird coming in, you don't want to stick around and wait for trouble. Urn pickup seems like it has been pulled just a little bit over to the Floormen side of the map, which might be enough to get them first control.
So big commitment here. Ido goes in deep, hits the charge shot across the league, takes him down. So another kill coming up for Floormen, but he can, or sorry, for Melee Creep, but Floormen extremely low on HP. AVG goes down, Xeno's on 1 HP as well. And the urn hasn't quite made it out of dodge just yet. You can see Fish Cake with in hand trying to escape here with some fantastic movement. And the backup out of Ido will keep DMB away. They're heavily in the hands of Melee Creeps, but I don't know if any more kills are going to happen here at the spot.
I was going to say, Ido actually can die there. I think if he gets like one napalm on him, could be in real trouble. Does get away before that happens with the help of Mirage to make a bit of space. And with urn in your hands, for Melee Creeps, do you just want to go for the dunk here? Definitely a bit of a scary prospect with Viper around. Rocker has also quietly farmed up to 11k. I do think Viper is a hero that definitely peaks quite a bit later into the game, where Infernus, once he gets this max dash, is like already really strong. But Viper with Bola, it is a really powerful skill for those singleton kills in the early game.
It's kind of funny because when you played like the Spirit Viper or Homeless Viper, your most powerful point of the game was like early to mid game. But obviously with Gun, it's all about that late game and the ability to like 1v1 anyone and have this slither to get away with high mobility. But the urn hasn't quite been dunked in just yet. Might be stolen away here. You can see that AVG was looking for it, trying to actually just pressure them and keep them away from the urn while this team is fighting on the backhand side. So AVG's focus is on just staying alive here. Well, they don't have Demov, they don't have DMB. If anything, Floormen should just look to escape this one and let it go because they're getting some massive pressure on the map.
Yeah, there's every single player on the side of the Melee Creeps is over on this side of the map. There's going to be 2 waves crashing elsewhere. AVG would love to be able to find that kill. It does get the trade onto Scout. The urn dunk, though, it does look like it goes in, but ends up being a little bit expensive. You look at the map, right? Things are in full control, and I think Infernus just gets a walker here, right? Yeah, I just think Mirage is too late for that. So yes, the urn is nice, and it is a renewable resource where you're only going to lose the walker one time. Getting the kill on Infernus would be nice, but this is Ash Furnace. He has Dispel Magic. Like, let's be honest, you are not killing
Bro, he's got a Resto Locket. Like, even if you get him low on stam, even if he doesn't have dashes up, he's still gonna have the extra stam and the heal from this. Like, obviously playing this super hard to kill build too. I mean, he's got really no spirit power build up. Finally, he has rapid recharge and mystic vulnerability. I mean, DMB, I think for me, just kind of hit a big power spike as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Rapid's a huge deal. I mean, getting that solo walker kill is a crazy injection of souls for Infernus, right? Look at him. I mean, him and Viper were both 11k before that fight. Now he's up 3k on the Viper. I mean, that's a big injection into somebody who wants to be powerful right now. I will say, looks like as we're coming out of this pause pretty quick, I will say there's a lot of jungle to farm here for DMB. So if I'm DMB here, I am going jungle crazy now for the next few minutes to really just get out of control. And with no walker on this side of the map for the enemy team, like, you have the room to kind of get in and invade that enemy jungle. Economically, it's going to be a real worry sooner rather than later for the Melee Creeps, as a little luggage cart to send an aggressive Abrams away.
I need to check something because I'm seeing someone in chat say that Actually, Floormen got the Urn turn, and I thought it was melee creeps, but I didn't quite see. I wasn't super focused on who was getting the Urn because I assumed it was going to go melee creeps away with the position that they had around the actual turn-in.
I saw the dunk coming in, and I thought it was just all melee creeps, but maybe I completely missed it. Maybe the distraction from AVG was enough.
I mean, to get Infernus and a Walker.
This could be a huge fight for Infernus. Gust of Combustion stun comes in. I'm not sure who it connects with here, but the rundown coming onto the side does dodge the Italian. Wait, hold on. No way this guy gets out. Surely not. And yeah, DMB is going to be able to finish that one.
Oh, he's 17K, man. He is a raid boss stacked right now.
This is a little bit crazy stacked. And the great thing about Dash Run is you can farm large camps, man, like nobody's business. So definitely keep an eye on that economy number. It seems to only be a bigger problem. The other 5 heroes for the Floormen can really get active now. Even DMB actually really putting some pressure on Do, who might actually get run down on Mirage in his own jungle near his own base. Does get, looks like cubed, but this is a crazy place for a fight to take place this early in the game. Dispel Magic has already been used, but he got the Flame Dash off crucially before that. Well, doesn't get the parry though, and the Puddle Punch gonna give him some big problems now. Needs the help of the team and just has to do what damage he can. So great rundown from the melee creeps, assisting Do. Good bait from him to pull that aggression near to the base. Scout comes in with the save, and it's a very nice kill to find considering his net worth.
But bro, it was like a 2-on-5, and Saya, Scout, and Do were all around half HP or lower. And it was a 2-on-5. I mean, obviously it wasn't right away a 2-on-5, and that just kind of shows you the threat that DMB is, and they had to throw everything they had to possibly stop him. Also, do have confirmation it was Fishcake to actually get the Urn turn, and it was not Floormen indeed. So we were not crazy when it came to that. But AVG might be a little bit crazy this far extent. It needs the backup of Rocker, who will be here as well as League.
Oh.
The Owl, it's not going to fight his prey just yet. Connects on the stun, but doesn't have enough damage to get the kill.
He might just be able to slip out. There's a lot of enemy players in the territory. Finding the kill, even if it's late, better than not at all. But I think he may just be able to slip out if he can make it up that zip line. And now with Urn in the hands of Zeno, and that, look at that side of the map. I mean, completely crashing. But AVG took a little bit of the greedy route out of that area. Catch was good there from Cyan Fishcake, and that'll be a nice kill to find. It makes this Urn turn in a lot more sketchy. Infernus, though, is still going to push a Walker down. Like, this is why I think this hero has been so high prio. I don't know what character in the game can stop him from soloing a Walker.
Just the macro you can pull off with Infernus.
Is John
he's going to get a kill on John.
That is illegal. This is devious. Oh, and he had to go for the very might be able to stay for more. Like, that's insane. They need to bring in resources to help GT at this moment. I mean, it would be too crazy for DMB to go for that. He doesn't know, of course, who could be coming, but massive spike now for the Infernus. Takes complete control of this game, and even the fight on the other side of the map coming up for him, and the dunk comes in from League. A lot of the souls are going to get denied here. A nice little parry, but the Doorman all creates an opportunity to look for the kill on Do.
And he's throwing the Baroness. Scout used the cube on himself, so when Do gets out, he's going to have to Dust Devil to escape this one, and escape he will do indeed. Rocker doesn't have Petrify and Bola, and it looks like he will just back away and not go for the chase. But the pressure's been put on. I mean, it's honestly, it was just, we get the Urn. We kind of wait for DMB to draw multiple people there. He drew John and Ido, and it's okay. We'll just turn in the Urn. And they now have a 10K lead. It's as simple as that. And that's the macro play to Floormen. But obviously the macro play when you can pull off something like this with the DMB on Infernus.
Yeah, and Viper has max slide, getting definitely up there as far as some of these items go. Game's gonna get a little scary. I will say the straightforward progression has kind of been completed now. You've got both the side lane walkers. Progressing the game now is gonna require some key kills, but a nice swap, pulling AVG into a really rough spot, and he hasn't been able to get the ultimate off, just gets nuked down. Not being able to pop the Lycan form is always the worst case scenario here on the silver, and that's Ido's first permanent scaling of the game. Definitely a slower game here on the GT than you'd like, but better late than never.
And I think, a lot of people watching might see this and be like, oh, AVG's throwing. He's died so many times, actually. I'm actually curious how he's died in general. It's a good hook with an Ido, and yeah, he's dead.
Wrong neighborhood, man. Wrong neighborhood.
But even though AVG's been dying, I feel like the space he's been creating for his team has been really spot on. Whether it's just space in a fight or the ability to allow DMB to split push. Yeah, he might be on 14,000 souls, but honestly, he doesn't need to have a carry game on silver when you have Rocker and DB this far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is his only purpose, I think, in this game is to tank. Damage you do is kind of extra. Look like the Dormant catch. Is it? Oh, just barely makes it on time, but just immediately cops the Italian. The setup is good. Abrams, though, hold on. The rest of Lucky takes him up for quite a while. He's getting a lot of heals from that passive, but in the end, AVG does get the finish. Hunters are really a bit of a problem, and good connections from Demoff to find Scout. AVG does take the owl to the face, getting some more spirit scaling for Ido. Iradomini whipped out by John, but I mean, you really feel the pressure on the map right now, and DMB is farming it up in the side lane. So what Floormen can accomplish, even without their full roster, is a little bit scary.
26,000 souls. Let's see a breakdown of souls if we can, courtesy of Deadlock here, and get an idea of where the soul allocation is across the board in terms of ranking, because I feel like Floormen, like DMB is just insanely far ahead. I mean, the lead they have right now is pretty much just DMB. It feels like they have an 11k lead, but 7k of that is coming from him alone.
I mean, that's pretty massive, right? He has like the same farm as Mirage plus a top tier item, which is a little bit crazy. I will say Viper is having a little bit of a slower game, like nothing crazy. I think Rocker has just been joining the team in these big fights where DMB's been able to get a lot of that solo souls from, soloing down walkers. Buff spawning, though, in 40 seconds, likely going to be the next flashpoint. And it's also a moment where, hey, you win a big team fight. Mid boss is absolutely on the menu if you can clean up effectively enough. And I think the timing is actually not going to be great for melee creeps. Floormen are dealing with all their waves right now. And in 20 seconds, they're going to have the time if they want to go look for these buffs.
I'm honestly thinking to myself, Jake, what stops Floormen from taking mid boss? And maybe I'll have to come back to that question in a second, as League has been caught out here with a nice swap coming on through, throwing everything they have into this. Tony Lasan coming through, but not enough to help League escape this one. They get one pick, but they might lose one. As Do on the left-hand side has been caught out, I believe, by Rocker and AVG.
Do's a hard kill, though, but maybe not hard enough. Viper struggling to really get the slides cooking in a small room. The cube comes in, and backup is now here. So player advantage here for melee creep. See if they can find more out of this. The owl coming in. Doesn't look like anyone's particularly low here. In fact, Ido's the one who's in trouble. During that owl, he got really, really low, and the catch came in. DMB punishes, finds that finish, and earn control as well, potentially going to the Floormen. But with AVG popping that Lycan curse, Abrams feels really desperate to come in and delay this earn, but instead just takes a trip to the Baroness. All expenses paid, and a nice little bola sets up an opportunity to maybe even look for the Viscous kill.
He's got to be dead, surely. There you go. The final blow comes in. That's 2 kills already on the board here for Floormen. Maybe a third, because Fishcake return fire will save you a little bit of time, but not long enough as Rocker finishes him off. And now the mid-boss potential is realistically there. If it wasn't hard enough already to contest them, to now do it in a 3v6, I don't know if you can possibly hold on to this one. Not to mention Earn turning off the back of this. We're looking at almost 20k plus lead unless somehow melee creeps could contest.
Yeah, and Mirage looks like he's just going to go for the Walker, which is understandable, but giving up a lot. Maybe not, though. They're going to peel back towards the mid-boss. Riju's already dropping. It went down quick. Ido's going to be running low on arrows pretty soon. And Apollo is up in the face. Nice parries, though, on the Riju. Creates an opportunity for melee creeps to grab one. Floormen, though, get the lion's share of the prize. And with still one Riju remaining, looks to be all them cleaning up this fight. Melee creeps still alive with 5 heroes. They'd love to be able to drop this last Riju crystal, but it's not clear that there's any opportunities to do that. Tornado is out from Do, is trying to run out of this one. John dies in the chaos to Rocker. And melee creeps now with real problems in game 1. A massive wave sent to crash on the Sidewalker, but I think Rocker's going to get there to clean it up. Ido would love to be able to finish that Walker, but it's almost certainly going to cost him his life whether he succeeds or not.
Bro, he punches Scout back into AVG away from his base. I don't see a World Scout escape this one, but he's sure as hell going to try. Use the put-up punch to actually get onto the wall, and some great movement actually does allow him to get away. But oh my lord, that was so close. I was expecting to cancel his cube just to parry, and then just go back into the base.
I assume the cube is not maxed, and so he needs to stay in it so that the Infernus burn actually ends. I'm also a little surprised that DMB actually went for the connection punch. Like, we see people sometimes bait that onto Viscous. That max cube is going to be a nice moment in the game, but it feels like it's just coming in too late, right? Like, we're kind of past the point of the game where cube purging somebody is going to be that huge difference maker in a small engagement. And Demoff quietly has racked up quite a series of kills in this game, right? Like, has been really stable on the Apollo. I can't remember him dying, right? He's just like always there, always showing presence in these fights. And it's just a character that you really can't run down in this game.
I mean, it's also just Demoff, man. I think out of any player in Deadlock, he's been the most consistent ever since we started back in Fight Night. Like, he just does not really have bad games. And obviously that last kill was set up by League, who has to have quite a few assists. I mean, he's silently helping facilitate a lot of these kills. He's not really being the star of the team right now, letting Dimov and Rocker and of course DMB do so. But one thing I kind of like about League, he's used to being one of the star players on the roster, but you know what? Winning's all that really matters. And with AK in the pocket of Dimov, what's he going to pick up here?
Yeah, some big choices. Oh,
right,
it's great talent hunting season, man. It is not going to feel good to play GT. And Ido got hooked around the mid lane. It's pretty close to his walker though, so maybe it's actually going to be turned around here onto League, who's going to die and lose the last rejuve. Teammates pretty far afield, but they're going to try to come in to make these assists and turn the fight around. A lot of health here on the Bebop. They're really desperate to try and finish off this kill. Will they be punished for it? Talilsan now under the walker. Does find some big damage, but the cube is good enough to save Ido alongside the rescue beam. So it's a nice find from the melee creeps. Grabbing a kill, finishing off the last rejuve, and getting out for free. So that's a really nice way to get something back in this game, but still economically not enough to equal.
It honestly felt like they threw everything they had to get that kill as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they paradoxical swap, they charged him back in, they puddle punched him back in. If he survived for a little bit longer, there's definitely a big chance Floormen could have regrouped in that one to force that fight. And now Rocker's at 31k, DMB at 35. So DMB, he slowed down a little bit, or I guess Do has sped up. And the lead that they currently have of about 23,000, obviously part of that is due to one of the walkers that they have in surplus for their opponents. What the hell?
What is that door, man? That's funny, man. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that door position. I don't know what the purpose of that is. It almost feels like an accident. But we'll take it. We'll take it. And I mean, for now, Floormen are just willing to split up and farm. Not really trying to do too much here. Spirit buff found from John. It's gun on DMB, kind of swapping the buffs they'd probably like to have with the other.
Is DMB going to get a third walker of the game? he's pushed up mid. He's actually circled behind melee creeps here looking for an engagement. AVG liking curse coming on out. Not necessarily the right time to do so as they're trying to go.
Does have Phantom Strike. Oh, you're in trouble now, Ido. Gets knocked to the ground. Flight is out, being run down here. Viscous rescuing pulls him away, but
he's out.
I'm not so sure. I mean, Dimov could maybe look there for more, and they're actually finding kills around the mid lane. It was all a feint there from Floormen. Do goes down in the mid lane. Without the Mirage, this defense is going to feel a lot more difficult. And even Venator now, potentially under threat. This Viper, hugely farmed at this point in the game.
As they killed DMB, and that was John to do so. Maybe another kill coming through, trading once again. Italo-san coming on through to take down side. Now Ido needs to put in some work here from the high ground. No Phantom Strike up just yet here for Dimov to go for the catch on him, and he might have to back away. Gets caught by the trap. But it looks like they will have the manpower to back away from this one. John so low in health, but the Owl could have possibly facilitate a kill.
Owl under 3. It's some really massive damage, but without John, there isn't that backline threat coming in. And now the kill's coming thick and fast for the Floormen. They know once they take down John, it's open season on the rest of the team. And melee creeps. That last walker almost certainly going to go down. Abrams doing what he can to Saul. Has Metal Skin. Has the ultimate as well, but the spirit damage is just too much. Metal Skin runs out. And the final walker of the game here is going to fall. Floormen picking up a 40,000 soul lead. And Dimov even thinking about getting a little bit more active here. I think wisely deciding to back off with some of these spawners coming back in. Diving a Mirage near the base is always a risky maneuver. Let's take a look at that soul graph, man. It really speaks for itself now, Jason.
Yeah, it's kind of exploding, as you pointed out. 40k, 27 minutes in. That is actually insane. What I think what's more insane is, and I almost want to double check on this, is has Dimov actually died this game? And I'm not quite sure he has. He's been quietly this massive threat. I think even like in one of the prior weeks, the first week we saw Floormen playing with Dimov, he has 0. Him and Rocker actually both have 0, which is insane in this game. But Dimov has had multiple matches in a row, multiple series where he's died once or maybe twice in total, sometimes even 0 in an entire series.
Yeah, it's like maybe in the lane or something, but certainly in the mid game, he's just too clean. And the Apollo is such a great hero for a player like Dimov when, you know, your skill expression allows you to live forever. Big collapse, though, coming in under a furnace right now. He's an ideal target. Gets the spell magic off, but a beautiful swap. Catches him there out of the flame dash, and now in the center of the fight here. Melee keeps fully surrounding him. They do get the burst down before the concussive goes off. Huge kill to find. 80 seconds on the deck, right? That's that new respawn change. And they're initiating on an Abrams who gets cubed and saved out of the Baroness. This looks like a pretty bad fight now for the Floormen. They're trying to disengage. They're trying to just retreat out of this. Melee creeps holding on to that W key for their lives. This could be their last best chance to come back in this game. A beautiful hook onto AVG, though, gets him out of trouble for the moment.
Maybe the re-engagement here to melee creeps, though, trying to chase on forward, using that time wall to facilitate some survivability. E-Shift coming out of league. I didn't even see him pick up that item. It actually buys him a little bit of time to escape back under his walker. And honestly, Floormen are really worse for wear, and with mid boss spawning right now, this is go time for melee creeps. And realistically, if you're Floormen, can you even contest this? DMB down for 35 seconds. Demo is a title on. They have Petrifying Bola here. I can see it. Does Rocker have it max? This is the perfect time to throw this one out and win it out as well.
They're just going for the kills. They're not going to wait for the rejuve to drop. They're taking the fight here and now, even without DMB. Floormen, what can they find? They have that door into the mid-boss pit, giving them a lot of flexibility about how they should take this engagement. Abrams starting to get low, but healing up from that infernal resilience. Defensive posture being adopted by melee creeps in the room, but they just don't have any room to retreat. Floormen continue to crash forward, finding a few kills. Melee creeps, slivers of HP to the rest of the team. Ido gonna tick out here from the Baroness. Mid-boss likely next on the cards, but maybe not if there's more hero kills to be found. Scout cubing himself, just delaying the inevitable.
God, chill. He's got like 4 kills.
Yeah, even John goes down, man. A brutal fight, and without DMB, right? Without, I would say, the most farm player on your team, but from that fight, hey, Rocker has taken that lead. It's Rocker's turn, I think, to really take over that particular team fight. So great confidence for Floormen, willing to take that fight without their Infernus, and it pays off hugely now. Triple rejuve, clean finish, team wipe as well. And the world's just your oyster now for the Floormen. An urn spawning momentarily. It's just the dream situation.
I think Xeno, he was MVP of that fight. Obviously the kills, yes, but that aside, the door he put down facilitated so much damage and harassed one point that they could do and use as a way to engage into this fight was really nice to see. He got himself in the right position at the right time, and melee creeps were unfortunately caught with their pants down. One thing I do want to point out really quickly, Jake, that I've noticed before with DMB and particularly Saya did a really great job of baiting out the Dispel Magic from DMB with his slowing hex, even with his time wall down, and then he just goes for the cold paradoxical swap. And when he hits that, he pulls him through the wall again, silences him so he can't have a way of getting like flame dashing. He doesn't have Dispel Magic anymore, and it's helping facilitate these kills. I think Saya definitely deserves a lot of credit with melee creeps' ability to deal with DMB.
Yeah, I mean, finding that kill gave them a chance in the game. It just wasn't enough. Like, for the rest of the team to be able to get not just a mid-boss win, but a huge statement team fight domination like that. Like, they're not even, like, look at the League is just standing in the lane menacingly on Bebop, and they just have to give a full urn dunk uncontested. They're thinking about maybe trying to punish by grabbing a walker, but I mean, getting all these base guards down, Shrines next on the menu, waiting out the rejuve feels unrealistic. That is way too close for Scout.
The position that Rocker's able to hold to just keeps him locked inside of this area. And again, when the hook comes back up, you're going to see someone fly across the screen, and League set himself up perfectly for it. It's going to be on to do this time. Dust Devil's going to help him escape this one. The Shrine's still going to fall, and DB's gone for the chase. They've gone in towards the base as well, trying to really get these kills so they can convert this into a first stage patron uncontested. But I mean, the lead, it's a 60k lead. Let's be fair about this one, Jake. It's almost over. It should be over.
Yeah, you'd think so. Here's the Italo San comes in. It doesn't seem like it got much of a connection. A couple players there, but melee creeps playing off their own fountain well. They haven't given up any kills yet in the fight, but they also haven't knocked down any of the rejuves just yet. As I say that, though, they do find Demog. Patron dropping in the meantime, though, and with the door getting you out to secure safety here, it's just a clean retreat from the Floormen. They are going to play this one absolutely by the book, and this is the best of one. So understandable. Get all your souls out on the map. Get your buys off. And you still have that minute left to come try and end this game.
Rocker with survival and movement buff. I just noticed.
Oh god, on Viper movement buff of all here. It's probably like the best late game movement buff user. And it looks like a catch found. It is under Mirage, who's one of the hardest targets here, but it feels like you're just willing to take anything at this point in the game. Silver has found her target. Gonna step up. Look for the kill potential onto Ido. But the slam from Abrams zones players away. They're a little bit scared for the moment. That knockdown, though, onto Saya. He's not long for this Earth with Silver trying to run him down. But some cheeky footwork, though, he might be able to get away for now. But deep in enemy territory. Feels not long for this world.
Where'd he go?
Oh, he juked. He's out around mid. I don't know that this even matters, though. Like, they're just sieging the base, and Saya, like, can't even get home. And, yeah, like, I mean, Rocker is just dominating, right? Even with that last rejuve available. They have the door right into that final patron pit. Saya just now gets home, but I mean, he is in dire straits here as Floormen just come crashing over the melee creeps. The soul lead way too big at this point. A beautifully played mid game. Couple nice finds from melee creeps gave them chances to win, but it just wasn't enough. Overwhelming authority here from the Floormen as they finish things off. And Do won't even be able to watch as the patron falls. Gonna spend the last moments here in the Baroness Hotel. It's gonna be Floormen coming off a qualifier match with a dominating victory. Here getting this win over the melee creeps, cementing themselves as one of the top teams in here in NA.
Crazy. Floormen lost last week up against the Bebop and the Infernus out of melee creeps, but they take those two heroes away and they get themselves a berth to take on FPS Lounge in the finals, to take home the money. And that is gonna be a crazy best of 3 coming up next. But honestly, looking at this game, Jake, I was saying it over, I was typing over in Discord. I actually, if we're looking at like who the sidekick of this match is, I kind of have a name that probably most people wouldn't have expected there. I don't want to call it out just yet if you want to take a look at it in a second, but Floormen, it feels like almost from the get-go they had control of that game. I didn't really see a point that they really lost out on this one. Maybe around that first urn, but still, even when that first urn happened, it was DMB not once, but twice using that urn to take 2 walkers for himself and create such a big lead.
Yeah, I feel like this game, I really felt why Infernus is such a dominant pick and why teams are prioritizing him so highly. Like, his ability to take buildings is pretty incredible. I mean, he might be one of the best building takers in the game right now, mostly because he's such a sick 1v1er at that soul level, right? Where you're 1v1ing, you know, the Venator. There's no way Venator is going to have Dispel Match like 12 minutes into the game. He needs to buy his farm items. He needs to, like, you know, invest elsewhere to just be a relevant hero on the map and actually get his souls up. Where Infernus, he's got the Flame Dash, he's got the Napalm, the Ignite itself. It's enough to ignite the hero and damage the walker at the same time. And it's just such an efficient way to push. He gets 2 walkers off the back of it. The lead kind of goes parabolic at that point. And from there on out, Floormen are in control, and they just never make enough of a mistake to give melee creeps the chance back into the game. That catch on a DMB by Saya, I think, was a really good call out. Is like made the game feel possible, like feel like there's some hope left in it. But ultimately, the fact that they can't win the 5-on-6 in the mid boss pit, I think it goes to show sort of how difficult the game already was at that point.
I think that's exactly what I was looking for. Is that if Saya wasn't able to control DMB like he did, I think this game would have been over, you know, at least 5 minutes earlier than this, because DMB, he was only really scared of that one player that really was just Saya because of the way he was working around his cooldowns and his abilities to force DMB to have to use his spell magic. Then he has no way to escape if you can hit that clean swap. But either way, I mean, like, not to throw shade, but I feel like Ido didn't really have much impact in this game. I feel like Fishcake didn't either when it came to Abrams, though he obviously wasn't being fed farm into this game, it felt like, or at least he wasn't able to capitalize on this farm. I mean, Scout had some good juggles with the put-up punch you're seeing here, helped facilitate that kill into League after taking the last rejuve away from Floormen. But beyond that, there wasn't really much seen out of like some of the big hitters we typically see out of melee creeps.
Yeah, it felt like some of their best moments were defensive, right? Where they were like, oh, you're invading the jungle, we're going to save our allies and try and turn the fight around. But they never were able to get that moment and flip the switch, where Floormen, it felt like constantly foot on the gas, right? From taking the early walkers, from forcing the urn fights, to more into that late game, even down a player. They just take the fight to melee creeps, win it decisively, and it kind of blows the game open. So it really felt like a difference in posture, a difference in momentum. And yeah, man, Viper absolutely carrying the mantle here into the late game. Like, I love this build. Like, really not that much damage in the build, a ton of survivability invested in to just ensure that he's able to deal that damage consistently. And we were right, man. Deathless for Demo, also deathless for Rocker. Didn't realize that either. So just huge performances, titanic performances there from Rocker and Demo. And you can see why melee creeps are maybe regretting bringing this Apollo Viper into the meta, which it seems like was their innovation. But Floormen just take it for themselves and just beat them down dirty with it.
Bro, I don't know if you saw this, but AVG took time during that draft to put a bet of channel points on himself and now has 250,000 channel points, generational wealth created by AVG in that game. And he's asking, like, you need to get some rewards. I need to spend my points somehow. That is hilarious.
I mean, yeah, we gotta think of something. That is funny. You know what? I will say this is the one instance of players gambling on their own matches. I can support with the channel points. You know what? Go wild. Like, get in there, believe in yourself. If somebody bets against themselves in 3-2-2s for channel points, I'm sorry, but something is deeply wrong in our society. So I don't want to make it against the rules. It's too much fun.
I think actually at 250,000 points AVG, ZP said he would wax his eyebrows off. So we'll see if we get ZP in at some point to cap us. We'll get that added to the
You did the mustache.
No. The fine print there actually said Jason. Sorry about that.
That was in the fine. You missed that on the fine print,
Hey,
guys. You missed.
948,000 goes to AVG, GTL, and 67 others. I want to know how much did he bet, man? Because he had to be the biggest bettor to have his name there.
That's I'm not surprised. I mean, get on him. I mean, honestly, AVG spent his whole career betting on himself, channel points to win. He probably would be doing pretty well right now, right? His record's been pretty strong, and now even stronger. The question is, will he double down in the next match?
No.
That is the question. Do you go all in on this next match? I mean, that would be very swaggy. That would be very cool, but it's a match that I think only gets harder from here on out, right? Like that next opponent in FPS Lounge is a super scary one. They have been winning a few weeks now. They look really solid. It was a little bit shakier last week, though. They definitely look beatable. But, you know, will it be the same this week? They're a team that I think really has a good read on the current meta today.
Okay, well, production is telling me we actually have at 500,000 channel points. Jake brings out the cat suit that we talked about back in like week 1 of the night shift. So maybe we can get that on happening if he does double down here on the next game.
Oh, no.
I think we need to talk about who our sidekick of the match was, though, Jake, because I think there's honestly a lot of names. I think you and I both had different names, but I think they're both very valid as well. But I think we kind of came together with a decision.
Let's see. Let's fly it if we've got it ready. Check out our Shopify sidekick of the match. It is Zeno. We were talking. You were talking some real game about giving it to Sai. I will say Sai made some nice plays, but for me, you just can't get it if you don't win. We don't. There's no participation trophies here. This isn't 4th grade baseball. Zeno, doorman, ton of catches from him. Great early game, showing that this character is absolutely still viable. And this is not the sort of meme kidnap build. This is more straight up take the fight to the enemy on doorman, right? Like just using the kit more naturally. And in fairness, maybe that sort of snatching people away with the door strategy just isn't that realistic. And just straight up setting up fights with Baroness, dropping big nukes with the doorbell and finding good moments with the luggage cart is what your team actually needs to succeed. And for Floormen, that was definitely the case today.
I think when it came to mid boss, like the door he put down for the contest when we saw melee creeps doing it, I think that in its own right is deserving of having the sidekick of the match for sure, because that created the opportunity to go for the contest with your biggest playmaker down, with DMB not there, who has such good zone control with that flame dash in these tight little areas. So, I mean, Zeno definitely earned the sidekick of the match this game as well, keeping out like high priority targets, not using this necessarily the Baroness to get a kill, but you kept Ido out of the fight so you could clean up the rest of melee creeps here, keep those arrows away, and even took an owl to the face.
It's super interesting. I think Ido owled as he was finishing the Baroness animation, so it popped the owl like right as he came out. That is some very sick tech for great talent. I don't think I've ever seen that before, but it was a bit of a last gasp in this fight, right? When you're caught in the middle of the fight on GT with 1 HP and the Baroness, it just isn't looking good for you, no matter how you spin it. So great match there, of course, as our opener here in North America. Don't go anywhere. Of course, we've got more matches to come. Before we send it away, though, we got to show some love to, of course, one of our sponsors here on the show, and that's TrackLock. We've been taking a look at some of those TrackLock stats, being able to bring you guys all those live stats, even all those little things in the top of the feed where we can see who got hit by a Tali Lawson, who's afflicted, who's in the cube, who's hooked. That all comes from the TrackLock data feed. So huge shout out to those guys. They've been able to help us level up the show in a major way. And of course, the app, I use it all the time now when I play Deadlock. I honestly, I really love every game. I'm like checking the scouting feature. I'm like not feeling great when I see my own profile says bad mood, lost streak. I'm like, well, it's true. It's true. I can't deny it. It's true. It makes me self-aware. So I appreciate that. But of course, you guys got to download the TrackLock app. It supports us, supports the stream and what we're doing here with Deadlock Night Shift. Their support has allowed us to level up the prize pool along with Shopify. So huge shout out to the TrackLock app, guys. Take a look. We got links below the stream. It's all free to use, free to download, and it's a great quality of life program for just improving a little bit more quickly at Deadlock, right? Getting a little bit more data, a little bit more analysis. I think that's the number one thing that people don't do enough of when they want to improve. A little bit too many grind in the games, not enough of hitting the books. And I think TrackLock is just that, right? Help you take that next step in your Deadlock career. So huge shout out to them as a partner, and check out the app in the link below the stream.
We're so different, Jake, because I use it to check my golden statue buffs. And I get to brag with my teammates. Like, I got 50 spirit power from golden statue buffs. What do you got? They're like, yeah, but you're Rem and you're taking our own sinners.
You're like, I don't care. I've eaten every sinner for the last 30 minutes to make this number go up.
Exactly. That's the game I'm playing. I don't care if we win or lose, as long as I have the most golden statue buffs of the game.
That is fair enough. You know what? Different strokes for different folks. I can't argue with that. So a little something for everybody. So we take a look now at our bracket. That's what's up next. It's Floormen FPS Lounge. That's our last game of the night here, the NA Finals match. FPS Lounge now on a few title win streak here in NA. As I mentioned before, though, that last week was a little rocky, a little scary. They were backs against the wall in game 2, and they just barely clutched it out. Floormen, it's been a while. They've been on the outside looking in, right? Mailer Creeps and FPS Lounge have been trading at the top 2. So it's Floormen's time to really put their stamp on North America and show that they are still a contender for that #1 spot. All that coming right at you after a quick break.